Joining me now is Congressman Neil Dunn of the great state of Florida, a member of the Doctors Caucus. Sir, thank you so much for being here. Good to see you.
Great to be with you, Rob. Thanks so much for shining a light on this subject.
Yeah, no, it's a big one. It's what everybody's talking about right now. We're seeing a majority of Americans supporting mask and vaccine mandates. I wondered what your initial reaction to that was. It seems like, they're getting everybody on their page.
Yeah, so I know that there's an urge to do that, but I actually oppose masking and vaccine mandates. I think that they don't build trust in the vaccine, and this mask mandate, even for vaccinated people, absolutely does not build trust in the vaccines among those who are hesitant in the first place. It's a bad idea, I think. And by the way, masks are not that effective. We understand masks. I'm a surgeon. All right, so the way we use masks is we put them on, and then we scrub, we gown, we glove, and we never touch that mask again, even for an instant. If we do, it's back to the scrub sink. You put on a new gown, scrub, gloves, everything new, and start over. And you can't get people to do that, in their daily life, adults, let alone children.
No, you're right about that. People touch the face even more when they got the mask on, and that's what they say. You don't want to catch the cold. Yeah. Don't touch the face.
I can't do it. I can't go a day with a mask and not play with the thing.
Especially when it's 1,000 degrees outside like it is right now in New York and Florida, to be honest. Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis in a battle with the White House over how to respond to COVID. This is back and forth been going on for a while, and so much of it is political. And you know that because they're thinking about 2024 and they're thinking about DeSantis as a potential person they're going to have to go up against, candidate. President Biden made this vague reference to DeSantis earlier today. Take a listen.
To the mayors, school superintendents, educators, local leaders who are standing up to the governor's politicizing mask protection for our kids, thank you. Thank you as well.
So you watch that, your response.
Well, obviously, I think he's the one politicizing it. I think so. I actually served with DeSantis in the Congress. I think he's doing a great job drilling down to the real science on this subject. And masking kids is not a practical thing. It's naive. It's foolish. It's unproductive.
But the Democrats, sorry to cut in. The Democrats sit there and they look at numbers and they say we've got more kids that are sick. We've got this Delta variant. It's making more kids sick. It's putting more kids in the hospital. So their knee-jerk reaction is mask everything.
They're unvaccinated. So if I've drilled into a lot of people come to me all the time and say, 1/4 of the people who are hospitalized in my county are vaccinated. And I look into the numbers. It's never more than 4%. If you're concerned about getting the Delta variant, get vaccinated. And it prevents serious illness and hospitalization. It does not prevent a positive test or minor illness. And I strongly encourage, I'm vaccinated. And if you're afraid to get the vaccine, then get the test to see if you're immune, and not an antibody test, a T Tango cell immunity test. Immunity to SARS-CoV-2 virus is not mediated by antibodies. That's a secondary response.
Really?
T cells mediate the immunity.
That's interesting. From a Wall Street Journal piece in regards to the July 4th, the super spreader on Cape Cod that resulted in a lot of vaccinated people getting COVID-19 that led to a lot of the mayhem around all of this Delta variant. Quote, some public health experts said using instances of infection among vaccinated people to address the threat to the unvaccinated risked undermining trust in vaccines. So basically, some experts are saying that showing Americans that the vaccinated can still get COVID is a bad idea. How do you respond to that?
Well, we have to be honest. I think if we're not honest with the people, we lose our credibility with the people. So you can be honest without being fear-mongering, like the director of the CDC was in that clip you showed at the beginning. There's no sense in being fear-mongering. I talk to patients every single day about this, and I try to give an intelligent, reasoned, balanced view. I push them to get vaccinated. I think it's a good thing. But if they don't want to get vaccinated, then I push them towards the immunity testing, because then they've got more information to make an informed decision on.
Right. When I think about it, you shouldn't be anti-vax or pro-vax. You should look at this thing like everybody should look at it. You should be, just look at it like anything else. You're skeptical. You don't know what to make of vaccinations. You want to learn more. You look at it. You look at and where I think they really got into trouble is when they stopped telling people the truth there are some cases where there's issues with
That's right.
vaccinations. And if you just tell people, hey, listen, most of the time, for most people, this vaccine is probably going to save your life. But there are some instances where potentially you could have a problem. But when they started hiding that from people, when big tech started hiding those stories from people, then you make everybody very suspect. And it leads you down this path of people being curious, why won't you talk about this? Why won't you answer a question about this?
I think your credibility is all you've got in this business. And, and I think sometimes, we have the public health officials trying to cajole people to do things, and they'll say anything they think will cajole them to get them to do the thing they want them to do. But these mask mandates are not about science. They're not about controlling disease. They're about controlling people. And we need to admit that to ourselves if we're really going to get people on board. I have a very simple message. If you're worried about getting the Delta variant or Lambda variant of COVID or subsequent variants of any type, get vaccinated. If you're worried about the side effects of vaccination, get tested to see if you actually have immunity with a T-cell test. And if you get the test and you don't have immunity and you still choose not to get vaccinated, you're rolling the dice with your life. And by the way, risking overtaxing the resources of your community's hospitals to care for people with all kinds of healthcare issues that need medical attention. And you're putting a disproportionate demand on society and our healthcare system compared to your neighbors who are either vaccinated or have natural immunity. That's unfair.
Understood. From a Republican surgeon, Congressman Neil Dunn of the state of Florida. Sir, thank you so much for the time. Good to talk to you.
Pleasure being with you, Rob.
All right. Coming up, it's not just parents who